Taylor married Polk Allen Jr. Most of our children, if not all of her grandchildren, refer to her as Ma. And they refer to Coke as Granddaddy Coke. He was a very good, kind man. He was the kind of stepfather who was really like a really good dad, okay? So I'm a teacher by nature, y'all. I talk a little bit, probably more than what I should, but I'm gonna try to move on. Is there a reason why you're not on the hayride, baby? Come on. Okay, all right. So we grew up in this neighborhood as children. One of the main things I want to tell you before we get started is that there used to be a row of houses over here. Our cousin Alberta was here last week. Her daughter Cherie will be here this afternoon, and Cherie's dad, his house where he lived at used to be right about where this silver truck is at. On that corner was a church. Next door to that church was 221 North Pine. That's the last house we lived in before my mother moved us here. So 221 North Pine, when we're coming around that corner, I'm going to show you that somebody bought that house and moved it on the other side of Center Street. This is Center and this is Pine. Tell me if I'm leaving out anything. When we lived at 221 North Pine, my mother said she prayed, Lily Mae prayed, and told the Lord she would love to have a house with a yard this size for her grandchildren to play in. The Lord has blessed her because not only is her grandchildren playing in this yard, her grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and great-grandchildren are playing in this yard. Now, Roy, where you at? Right here. Okay, let me know when you want to jump in. Center Street used to go all the way up to Monumental. When we make this left, up here, Monumental's on the other side. Center Street used to go all the way through to Monumental. And when we moved here from Mississippi, I was about, I think, 3. I remember the ride from Mississippi. We lived immediately on the other side of the swimming pool. So the only thing between us and the swimming pool was a fence. Then our mother moved us to the other side. We lived in 1, 2, 3, 4 houses right here. We moved about 3 houses on the other side of the swimming pool. Our older brother, Obi, Sonny, was trying to dry his blue jeans over the stove one night. They caught a fire and the kitchen started to burn. We got the kitchen, the fire out, but the owner got very, very angry and asked my mother to move. Our father was in the military, so he was not here. He was going around the United States. We moved from that house on Center Street one night. My mother took our brothers and us. She took a wagon, you know, like the little flower wagons, the red wagons with the black wheels. She moved all of that heavy furniture to 221 North Pine. When we moved in 221 North Pine, which was a 2-story, we moved downstairs. We did not know who the house belonged to. There was no rent sign out there. All my mother knew, or all our mother knew, was that it was empty. So we moved in. About a month later, this gentleman passes by. He sees us there. His name is Mr. Friday. Mr. Friday was a deacon at the church that owned that house. So he stopped and he asked my mom, was she living there and who gave her permission? And my mother told her our story about being kicked out of that house, and she didn't have anywhere for us to go. So Mr. Friday went back to the church and he asked them for permission for us to stay there, and they gave us permission. And so we lived in that house until we moved over here. I think I might have been younger than 16 when we moved here. I remember that our dad came home and he wanted to buy us a house. The Woodards used to live here, and we were very close with that family. They were a large family, like we were a large family. Our brothers were friends with Mr. Woodard's children. We were friends with their daughters. And Mr. Woodard decided to put this house up for sale. My mother and father went out to Lakeside. Do y'all know where Lakeside is? Any of you? Okay, my mother and father went out to Lakeside looking at some brand new houses. My mother told our dad that she did not want to live out there. So she told him, this house is for sale, I want it. Our dad paid about, was it 12 to 14,000? About 12 or 14,000 cash. Bought this house, and we've been here for about 45 years.
I was 14.
I was,
You was 15.
I got married in 74, 75.
The number's about right.
So the numbers are 45 years. We've been here since before I was married. Okay, and so this is your heritage. This is part of the property that, well, this is the property that our dad bought for our mother. Excuse me if I keep saying mine. So I want you to remember, Center Street used to cut all the way up to Monumental, and the city decided that they were going to close it off, and that tennis court that's over there now was not there. There was a park kind of back here where that tennis court is. The gentleman that owned this property, when he died, he willed it to the city, and he said it could always only be used for recreation for children. So the city will never be able to do anything with this property other than have something for children. And I think that's enough for it. Should I add anything before we take off? I gave them a whole lot of information. Remember, we lived in 2 houses on this street, immediately on the other side of the swimming pool. Sometimes we would climb the fence and we'd get in trouble. If they caught us climbing the fence to get in the pool, what did they do? Kick us out? That's all they did. When you look over at that swimming pool, when you see that building where you go in and change your clothes, your dad, his brother, I never did it, they would actually run off that building and dive into the pool, which was quite dangerous. But we were little kids, and I knew better. But they did it. They had more guts than me. All of us learned how to swim because the center swimming pool was our life. Mama didn't let us go spend the night with people. She didn't let us hang out with other people. If you were our friends, you visited at our property because Mama was just that tight on us. And so I'm going to tell you one more thing, I think, before we move on. Our older brother, who was not by our dad, Darlin's dad, Darlin's not here yet, but y'all should meet him later on. His dad lived in Chicago. He came home to visit us one time, and we were little kids. He was older than us, much older than us. He asked us, did we want to play Cowboys and Indians? We said yes, because we were innocent and quite ignorant. We let him tie us to the swimming pool fence. And then we were tied up, and Bubba went and got some leaves and branches, twigs, and he set it afire because we playing Cowboys and Indians. And so Mama had some very choice words for Bubba, but that's what we did. And when we decided we wanted to go swimming and we didn't feel like taking that little trek around this street to go inside the pool, we were quite ungodly. We cut a hole in the fence, just like it was a door, and we pulled it back and we go in and swim. And they would repair the fence and we would cut it back open. Let me tell them about when they weren't going to open it.
Yes.
One year, the city decided they were not going to open up the pool for some reason, and our brothers who had been lifeguards, Mr. Woodard's sons who had been lifeguards, all of these black young boys in our area decided, oh no, we're gonna open up the pool. So that particular year, they went over the fence. So because they had been lifeguards, they knew how to operate anything and everything regarding that pool. They went in, unlocked the door, they filled up the pool, and we went in to swim. The police came by, they saw us in the pool. Of course, we were scattering like little roaches, running to get to our house. And the city decided they were going to go ahead and open up that pool because we showed them what they showed. You know, I was like the one that was hardly ever getting in any trouble for real, right? But we decided that we showed them that we were going to swim anyway. Many nights when the swimming pool was closed during the summertime, we would hit that fence, go swimming. Our mama would be sitting over here, our Aunt Riggy would be sitting, and if one of the neighbors called the cops, because most of the time they did, Miss Rosetta was one of them, she called Miss Montgomery, she would call the police and say they're over here making all this racket. We didn't have sense enough to be sneaking in the pool and be quiet. We were gonna have fun. And I don't think it was the police, I think it was a park ranger. They would come and Mama would holler and tell us, here they're coming. We'd hit that fence and we'd get inside the house. And so I think that's enough for right now. We need to go ahead and take our trek around this little block. But Uncle Sonny, Aunt Di, Roy, me, and Calvin, we grew, and Jean, we grew up right here. I forgot something that's very, very important. When you look across the street at the park, that first tree
Right there.
that's nearest to the street, there used to be a house there. And that's where Aunt Jean lived. That's also the house where when Shantae was 2 years old, she fell off the porch and there was a board laying there with a nail in it. She fell on the board and it poked her in the eye. So Shantae, her right eye is artificial, but that's where she fell. That house was right there by that tree. Okay? Where the Delta house is up on the corner, that used to be the Y. After school, we'd go up there and hang out, and they'd have arts and crafts and things for us to do like that. During the summer, they had a little bit more fun things to do. I'm ready if you all are.
All right.
Are you on with this one?
You want a little ride?
Huh? Y'all gotta go. Be careful.
You gotta come to the front.
Testing. Mom,
All I'm gonna tell
if you
Sharice.
speak this way, it gets loud.